Morning, morning. How are you doing? Okay, so first things first. Good morning. I have missed y'all. If you have been wondering where I've been sick all week. Not necessarily like dying, just no energy. I've just had no energy. And so I've been kind of like cruising on a cruise ship couch over there all week this week. If I couldn't do it from my computer on the couch, it wasn't getting done this week. But I am officially on the mend. Raylynn's on the mend. Me and Raylynn were down for the count. So I figured I've gotten a bunch of questions about how I clean my brushes. In fact, today I had went ahead and cleaned a bunch of them this morning. I woke up with all the energy that I've been missing all week this week, and I was like, you know what? Those brushes have been neglected. Let me go ahead and clean them. Then I came across a couple of more, plus Raylynn's brushes. I haven't even looked in her bag. But let's just be real. Raylynn is not the best brush mama, so we'll give them a good swish swish as well. Hey, good morning, Lori. It's good to see you too, and Marie Mosley. What's up? What's up? Okay, so today we're going to be deep cleaning our brushes. Now, there are a couple of things that I do as everyday maintenance to kind of keep the deep cleaning at a minimum, and that is I keep brush cleaner in my water cup. So here's my water cup, okay? So my water cup is it's a generic cup. Now it is pretty. There's a whole story behind this, but that's a story for another day. Hey, Michelle. But this is my water cup, okay? This is what I paint with. Look at all the layers of paint in there. Yeah, it's nothing fancy about it, okay? But what I do, I want you to look in the bottom. I want you to look at the bottom of my water cup, and then I want you to look at the bottom of your water cup, okay? And there's probably a good difference. My water cup is clean, okay? If the bottom of your water cup is not clean, your brushes will never be clean. So let's make sure if that's being neglected, then your brushes are being neglected, no matter how clean you think they are. That right there is a good indication on whether they're actually clean or not, okay? So we're going to start there. We're going to look at our water cup, okay? It's okay if you've got like layers of projects past built up on the side. That's no big deal. We're worrying about where the bristles are actually going to be living inside our cup. So something I do to keep all of this at bay is I keep brush cleaner in every cup of brush water that I do. Not a lot, just a little bit to keep my brushes continuously cleansed as I'm painting or as I'm working on a project. Good to see you. Hope you're feeling better. Crystal, I'm feeling a little bit. I'm not 100%. But I'm feeling better enough to be able to, like, I got some housework done. I dropped one of the kiddos off at a to-do today, and I've got Raylynn, like, chilling like a villain, watching a movie in there. And then we've got, it's Graham's birthday, so we've got birthday dinner tonight. So, I mean, like, I'm feeling better to be able to do all of that, so I'm so excited. And then, so, since I had the energy, I was like, really want to hang with my friends. So, thought I'd show y'all how I clean my brushes. So there are two brush cleaners that I really, really, really like. Right now, this one's kind of my favorite. It is Crud Cutter. Don't mind the Hobby Lobby sticker. It's Crud Cutter Brush Wash, okay? Don't get the Crud Cutter from your pantry or from underneath the sink that you use to clean countertops. Different, okay? Same brand, different product. Crud Cutter brush wash, okay? And I just put a few little drops to suds it up in there, and that's what I put in my brush water. I also like something called pink soap. You can get both of these at any of the big box craft stores, okay? So like Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's. I think I've even seen it at Walmart a time or two. Catch up on hey Dana, hey Adrian. It's that infamous paint cup I still ain't got my hands on. It's at Walmart. They even got a blue one. I've got a blue one over there too. But that is a good indication whether or not you're doing a good job keeping your brushes clean. Okay, so the bottom of your paint cup should always stay clean. Okay, and if it's not clean, we can get it there. Okay, nothing is too far gone. I can promise you that. So it doesn't affect the paint. That was my biggest worry of soap in the water. No, it doesn't affect the paint. What it does is it keeps the paint from settling inside the actual bristles of your brushes. Okay, here's my faucet. See this? This is the one that we're going to clean today, okay? Look, I can't even bend it. Like, I can't even. That's just the bristles. I don't even know what's in here. I'm pretty sure it's just layers of dried on paint, maybe some Mod Podge, something. Something's in here. We're going to clean. This is the brush we're going to revive today, okay? This is what it should like. Okay, I want you to, the handles always tell the story, the battle stories, right? Look how many battles these brushes have been through, right? Because my brush cleaner never touches the handles. That is tip number one. When you clean your brushes should not be submerged up to here, especially if you have wooden handles. I don't care if they're plastic or whatever. When you're deep cleaning your brushes, your water should never be up to here, okay? Normally I clean my brushes in this cup to help clean the cup as well, but we're not gonna do that today. I got a mason jar so that you can see water levels and everything, okay? So this is what it should like. This is what it looks like, okay? We may not revive the color, but we will revive the shape, okay? So that's tip number one. Don't drown your brushes. I need a Schoolhouse Rock song for cleaning your brushes. Remember the Schoolhouse Rock? Who remembers the song? Don't drown your food in mayo, salt, ketchup, or goo. So I need a Schoolhouse Rock song that says don't drown your brushes. Don't drown them, because one, you're going to ruin wooden handles. You're going to loosen glue that don't need to be loosened. You're going to release glue into your bristles, which is probably another problem that's happened in this brush. Hold on one second. Okay, so that is tip number one. Don't drown your brushes, okay? Especially when you're deep cleaning with chemicals or something abrasive that breaks down all the things in our brushes. They're also going to break down the glue. So keep that in mind. I am going to go full table here, and you're going to see me working in the sink. You're going to notice that I don't use any kind of abrasive brush cleaner. Every once in a while I will. Like those little silicone pads, I don't use those. And I'm still able to keep my brush shapes and my bristles clean, okay? So I don't use them. I will with certain situations, but not as a rule of thumb, okay? Let's see. Hey, Roxana and Anna and Terry and Christy. I'm feeling better. Ain't nothing going to keep me down. I've got Jesus on my side. Ain't nothing going to keep me down. Okay, so here's what you're going to need. You're going to need some jacked up brushes, okay? That's the first thing you're going to need. Hopefully they're not jacked up, but if they are, that's the first thing on your list. Then you're going to need some form of basin. Like I said, I usually use my actual paint cup, because in the process of cleaning my brushes, it's also cleaning my paint cup. Hold on, where's the camera right there? It's also cleaning my paint cup. Today, I'm not going to do that. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to use a mason jar. Honestly, it's kind of satisfying watching the solution turn colors, especially when I have cleaned these twice, okay? The ones I cleaned this morning, the first one was murky swamp water. I thought they were clean. And then something said, no, give them another dunk. Give them another dunk. So I dunked them again, and the water was still cloudy. So I swear, if I clean these again, I'd still pull things out of these brushes, but they're clean enough to do projects, okay? So the next thing you need is jacked up brushes. You need a basin, a cup, a bowl of some sort. You really want it to be kind of tall and support your bristles. You don't want your brushes you don't want a wide butter bowl where your brushes are laying at such a wide angle that the handles are going to get wet. The goal is to keep them as straight as possible. It's okay if they kind of lean this way, okay? You want to keep them as straight as possible. So if you have multiple cups going, to keep them up perpendicular, you really want the handles to stay as dry as possible, okay? You're going to need, here's the magic sauce right here, what I consider high octane, okay? When I say that, what I mean is like the highest percentage that you can possibly get. This is from Walmart. This is just rubbing alcohol, and it's 91%. The higher, the better, okay? A lot of people use hand sanitizer. Some people use just the blue label. The blue label is only 50%. This right here, the red label, is 91%, and it works 10 times better than the 50%. So the highest percentage that you can find. You're also going to need, and I'm going to dump this out, you're going to need like just a little small microwavable bowl, okay? That's it, okay? So let's get to cleaning this one brush. We're just going to clean this one brush because I've already cleaned all these. Well, we might clean some of Raylan's too. But we're going to start with this one, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our, let me go ahead and go full table. Okay? So I'm going to put this right here. This is a brand new thing of 91% alcohol. Hold on. Y'all don't judge me, huh? There we go. I don't play with these little things. All right, so we just need 91% or higher, whatever you can get. 91% is what I've always used. I'm just going to put enough in to get it started. So about a half an inch. So about a half an inch. Okay. See that? It's about up to here. Not a lot. Okay. And that's all we're using right there. We're going to take our wayward brush, our brush that just needs a little bit more loving. Okay. So now that I have my brush in there, and it's leaning, but it's not so wide of a lean that the handle's going to get, I can already see stuff coming out of the bristles. But it's not submersing the entirety of the bristles. But I'm not gonna put more in there yet because I have more brushes that I can put in here. Okay. So I just started off. Raylan's, I think I've cleaned them before. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through all of her little brushes. Take them out of the package. I didn't even look in her brush cup. I might go grab her brush cup too. And yes, you can clean foam brushes this way too. Hers are actually not that bad. I must have recently cleaned hers. Okay, so most of her bristles on the little brushes are completely submersed, but that big 2-inch brush is not. The ferrule, the metal part, is tall enough for me to submerge all of those, that 2-inch brush and these brushes all together. If they weren't tall enough, I would do the 2-inch brush separately in a smaller container, okay? So I don't want to overkill my, well, probably shouldn't say that word. I don't want to drown my smaller brushes for the sake of my 1 2-inch brush. Okay, so I just don't want to go too terribly far past the ferrule. Okay. That 2-inch brush is completely submerged. It is just above the metal, line of the ferrule, okay? I remember the one that says, hey, it's not for giving a guy a shot down there. I remember the one that says, hey, it's not for giving a guy a shot down there. Love it. The kids say, hey, well, Nella, what are you talking about? Hey, Megan. It's good to see your name on here too. I always say y'all's face, but I don't see y'all's face. Hey, Christy. Hey, Lauren Martin. How are you doing? No, we're just hopping on. You're not late. So all we've done so far is I've gone over what you need to properly deep clean your brushes, to pull all the paint out of your brushes so that they can maintain their shape. Now, a lot of people will tell you Murphy's oil. Yeah, Murphy's oil is a cleanser. It's not a deep cleaner, okay? It's not going to remove. If you were using oil-based paint, so now the magic is we just let this set, okay? So we're going to go, now we just let this set. So let's let this set. I do not let these soak for more than 10 minutes at a time. We're not going to let these sit for 10 whole minutes, okay? So some people will say Murphy's oil, okay? Yes, Murphy's oil will help from day-to-day use, but it will not deep clean your brushes. I don't care how long. They will soften your brushes, but it will not deep clean and remove acrylic paint. If you're using oil-based paint, that's a different story. It's a degreaser. Look at your Murphy's oil. I think I have some down here. Hold on. 2 seconds. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, right there. Safely cleans wood. Wood cleaner. It's a wood cleaner. okay? It's a wood cleaner. Read the product. It's a degreaser, wood cleaner. It will not remove plastic. Let's think about what acrylic paint is. It's plastic, okay? So it's not going to remove it. It's not going to break it down. You need something that's going to break down paint. It's not going to necessarily actually clean. It's just going to cleanse, right? So some people will say Murphy's oil. Alcohol is the only thing that's really going to remove the paint from your brushes without damaging the bristles. Now, I say that with a big asterisk next to it. It can damage your bristles if you let it live in alcohol water. So we don't want to do that. That's why I say 10 minutes at a time, okay? So you can repeat this process as much as possible. This stuff is super cheap. So clean your brushes until they are good and gold, good to go, and then just keep maintaining them, and you won't use as much the next time, okay? So we're going to submerge them. Oh, I wish you could see this. Look, it's no longer crystal clear. See all of the paint that it's already pulling out? And Raylynn's brushes were pretty clean. I had already cleaned them. Have you ever used pink soap? Yes, I use pink soap. What I use brush cleaners for is that's what I put in my water when I'm painting. So when I have a paint cup of water, paint water, I put a little bit of pink soap or Craig Cutter in my paint water, and that keeps my brushes kind of like putting a pre-treatment on your clothes before going into the washer, right? Like it keeps your brushes from getting too bad. Like they can still get dirty, but it keeps them from like really getting really bad. So that's just kind of like a preventative care. This is the actual medicine, okay? So that's the difference between how I use. I'm not saying this is how it is used. This is how I use and how I keep all my brushes super perfect condition. Now, don't look at the handles. I never clean the handles, ever. All I care about is the bristles. I ain't painting with the handles. I'm painting with the bristles, right? So, like, all my brushes keep perfect shape and keep perfect consistency when it comes to their bounce, and that the bounce is important when you're learning how to shade and do different techniques. Even my big kid brushes, I keep in pristine condition. So brush cleaners I use as a preventative care, and actual deep cleaning I use as the medicine for the condition of being a dirty brush. I was painting. What are they soaking in? 91% rubbing alcohol from the pharmacy section. Anything less than this is going to do the job. I mean, let's be real. Hand sanitizer, it's got some alcohol in it, but it's not a whole bunch of alcohol, right? It's also got other things in it. Some people will say use rubbing alcohol. That's going to release the paint, but this is going to be like turpentine to the paint, okay? I mean, these have only been sitting for about 30 seconds. You can already see the cloudiness kind of like it's already dingy. Okay, now I haven't even swished them yet. This is just them sitting in that, okay? Hey, Maria. Google it. Okay, I'll Google it. Juanella, I think I'm a little scared. Oh, Schoolhouse Rock. Interjection. Oh, interjection. Oh, okay. It's a Schoolhouse Rock song. I'll look at that. Happy Saturday, Robin. Okay, so Lauren, most of us need to do this really bad. I need to do it more often than I do. I do it about once a week, give or take a week sometimes. Okay, so let's go back full table. Let's give them a good swish, okay? So, like I said, some people use a silica mat, and I do from time to time. It just depends on what brush I'm using. I'll use it on a chip brush. I'll use it on a brush that really needs to be broken down. So like this 2-inch brush. Oh, man, I'm telling you right now, I'm bouncing the 2-inch brush. That's what I do. I go through and I start bouncing them. I'm not like really abusing the bristles down here. So you don't want to abuse your brushes. Don't do that, okay? The silica mats, even like if you're gonna have one of, what are they called? The brush pucks that sit in the bottom of. You want to be very gentle when you're cleaning your brush with the brush puck. You don't want to like really like grind your bristles into it. That's going to mess up the glue and everything, because that glue is softening every time you put them in the water. It's softening, whether you realize it or not, ever so slightly, but that will mess with the construction of the actual brush itself. So I'm just kind of swishing them around. All right, let's. How dirty that water's gotten so far. So this is only about a minute, okay? Look at that. And these brushes, other than 1 2-inch brush, these brushes were fairly clean. So I'm just gonna sit here and do this. Oh, you're welcome for the reminder. I was cleaning up since I haven't done anything in weeks. I have a ton of brushes to clean. So now, if you have a ton of brushes, like I said, you don't want to do a big butter bowl for like 5 brushes because you don't want them laying at a really long angle, really wide angle. Now, if you've got a bunch of brushes and they can stay standing up in like a coffee container because you have 100 brushes to clean, use the coffee container. But honestly, I would use multiple mason jars. So all I'm doing is I'm just kind of agitating them. And like I said, you can do this with foam brushes. I clean my my Aunt Martha polka dot sponges. This is how I clean them because I have let the paint dry on them, and I have revived those before with this process. What I do is I take a cup, usually this cup, and I put some alcohol in the bottom. Not enough to submerge this whole sponge because remember what a sponge does? It sucks it up. So I just put some alcohol in it, and I wait for that sponge to completely be completely soaked in the alcohol, and then I'll put it in a plastic baggie and let it soak for about 10 minutes, and then rinse and repeat until it's just like new. Yes, the makeup cleaner pads in the sink, they and rub them back and forth. Just be gentle with them. You don't want to like really scrub into them because you can just like brushing your hair. It's like back brushing your hair. You get split ends. You can get the equivalent of split ends with your brushes. All right, so we've been a few minutes now. Look how purple this is turning. All my brushes didn't have visible paint on them other than the 2-inch brush. And honestly, the 2-inch brush didn't even have visible paint. It was solid. Like there was glue in it. And I'm pretty sure it may have been sealer. I think it was a brush on sealer. And the more I think about it, it was either Mod Podge or brush on sealer. So this is like, remember what I was saying? It's so satisfying to think your brushes are clean and then do this. So I'm just going to let them sit a few more minutes. None of these brushes, all my brushes are in pretty good shape, as in shape-wise, right? Because I just shaped all these this morning. But I will show you how I shape my brushes. Now, this sponge right here, it does have some dry paint on it. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this in here just because it's not going to need a whole lot of soaking time, but it will need some. They can be saved, yes, and they are. I wish they would still make those sponges because I would literally buy them up and give them out as Christmas presents because I know how good they are. I know how, like, they're amazing little products. Oh, yeah, see, that's already, that was rock solid paint on this side, and this is already softened up on this little sponge. So I'm going to put this back in the sink. Do y'all have any questions so far? Is there anything when it comes to caring for your brushes? Is there something that you're just kind of curious about? You don't know the proper way of going about it? I have not been keeping a timer, although we've been on for 20 minutes, but I've been talking most of that. We have not been soaking for 20 minutes. I do it maybe once a quarter. Marie, you better show them brushes a little more love than that. Okay, so I would say we've been soaking maybe 5 minutes, right? And look, it's pretty gnarly in there. And these were not visibly dirty brushes. That meant there was paint in the brush. Like, have you ever painted? Okay, have you ever been painting and then all of a sudden red starts running and you're like, I haven't even painted with red today. Where'd the red come from? Every time you get your brush wet, especially with either paint, floating medium, blending gel, some kind of dry time extender, or something paint in general, it's reactivating any other paint that's in there. So even though it's dried paint, it can be reactivated. That's why when you're painting on a door hanger, a garland or an ornament, and you're like really, really going back and forth on this one spot, the undercoat is completely dry, but all of a sudden it starts smearing, and you're like, how is it? That was dry. Why is it smearing? You've reactivated that paint with the paint that's on your brush. You've worked with it enough with the wet paint on your brush to reactivate the dry paint, to re-wet the dry paint. It is permanent, but it doesn't mean that it can't be removed, right? Permanent ink is permanent ink, but there are hacks and tips and tricks to get it out of your clothes all over the internet. So same thing with acrylic paint. I know I'm horrible, but hey, some of these brushes I have had since high school, and they're still kicking. It's the little victories for me, Marie. I will say some of these are fairly old. Some of them are fairly old. I have over the last couple of years started, especially these rose gold ones. These are fairly new. They're about maybe 2 years old. Maybe 2 years old. Maybe. When you have the brush cleaner in your paint water, how long do you leave your brushes in the water before you actually clean them? Okay, so Ashley, back in the day, and I'm gonna say back in the day, maybe 2 years ago, maybe I just started really caring for my brushes on a use by use basis, like every time I paint. Really, when I started painting with the pretty brushes, like the ones that I was like, I want to keep these forever because they bring me so much joy because they paint so well and they're pretty, functional and pretty. So like over the last year, maybe 2 years, I've been a little bit of a better brush mama. I've always deep cleaned my brushes, but before they used to live in paint water. I mean, they lived in paint water. But I got tired of replacing brushes. I noticed that whenever I was letting them live in paint water, even when I was buying cheap brushes and justified it, well, they're cheap brushes. I'll just buy another $3-4 pack of brushes. No big deal. Well, when you bought 50 packs of $3-4 paint brushes, how much have you invested in your brushes at this point? So I'm a frugal person. So I was like, I can't justify constantly buying cheap brushes because I don't want to take 5 minutes to do that, right? And I want to paint well. And to paint well, you need the right tool for the right job. And you need to take care of your tools. So I'm taking care of my tools. So I typically, if I'm lying, I do it every single time. If I'm being honest, I probably do it every couple days, honestly. I think the longest my brushes have lived in water in the last years for sure have been a couple of days. And I think the only reason that they keep really good shape is because there is the brush cleaner. So that brush cleaner is prohibiting that paint from like really settling into the bristles themselves. Just threw away some of Emma's brushes. She snuck in the basement to paint and didn't know. Oh no. Well, we could have revived them. Oh my goodness. They could have been saved. Now you know they can be saved. I have saved some pretty gnarly ones, I promise. Do you spend a lot of money on your brush? Absolutely not. Now, I do not buy the $3 or $4 packs. I used to, but they don't keep their shape even with shaping. Now, I will say the triangle brushes and the big hip brushes are not created equal. They are very similar. People compare them like apples to apples all the time. They're not, okay? And I'll tell you why. The Big Kid Choice brushes, the Royal and Langnickel versus the triangle brushes. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's a story for another day. But there's two different types of brushes that kind of look like this. They have colored handles. They have this color. Actually, this is the orange. I don't have any other color but the angle. The angles are orange, but the flats are reds. The bristles are red too. The rounds are green. The filberts are yellow. So they're meant for children, right? Royal and Langnickel's version, the ones with the little grippies right here, they are actual synthetic sable. Okay, they are very similar, not the exact same, but very similar. No, these are Talcon. I think that's Talcon. These are the golden Talcon. These are Sable. Okay. I will spend a couple dollars more on a pack. I always buy variety packs. On a couple dollars more to get Sable. Sable bristles are my favorite. Okay. Sable, there's 2 different types of Sable. There's actually multiple kinds, but usually in your big box craft stores, the Royal and Langnickel, okay, the Menta brushes, I absolutely love. This is their synthetic Sable, okay? It's got a nice little bounce. They're firm, but not too firm, okay? They're firm without being stiff, and that's what I like. My brushes probably range anywhere between, I have paid maybe $7 or $8 a pack for a 4 or 5 pack. So not much more than $1 and a half per brush. So really, honestly, if you break it down like that, they're not that expensive. I think if you buy them one at a time, they can be $2.50. I used to go to Joann's and they used to have a wall of brushes of nothing but Royal and Langnickel. They have since switched over to another brand and they're not as good. So please do not take this as gold anymore unless they're Royal and Langnickel. Those are my favorite brushes. And no, I am not affiliated with them. They do not know I exist. I do not get anything from promoting them. It's just when you have something that you love so much, you want everybody else to love it too. Royal and Langnickel is my favorite brush brand. And it's just because I have abused these. Like I have painted till the cows came home and cleaned them and they bounce right back to fresh out the package. Okay. And they're not so expensive that you can't justify, picking up 1 or 2 here and there, right? They're not $30. Some brushes can be about $30 a piece. These are not. These are about, maybe if you buy them individually, they're about $2.50 a piece. I was taught 28 years ago to never leave them in water. Absolutely never leave them in water. I'm not promoting that. I'm just saying. I have a 5-year-old and we live a pretty busy life. So there are times where I finish painting with y'all live and I boot, scoot, and boogie right out the door. And it may be the next day before I go and clean my brushes. Rinse them out and put them aside until you are, So I don't, when I'm painting, they do kind of sit in the water. You're not supposed to do that, but it's just, I'm a big person about clutter on the table. So it keeps them corralled for me. And honestly, I'm using the same brush. 9 times out of 10, I'm using the same brush over and over and over again. I'm not one to switch between brushes. I cleaned all these brushes. All these brushes. I probably used on a regular 4 of them. Like every time I painted. The rest of them I probably used once. And the only reason I cleaned all of them is because when I deep clean them all. I'm using hand sanitizer while watching because that's what I had. And that will knock it down. It will help. In a pinch, hand sanitizer will help because it does have alcohol content, but it also has other things in it. So when you get home, when you go to the store, Dana Bradshaw, I know Rustin's got a Walmart. I'm going to need you to go to the pharmacy section and buy 91% rubbing alcohol, okay? Do you have any brushes listed somewhere? Okay, so Ashley, you're part of the paint studio. If you go over to the guide section in the paint studio, I have my favorite brushes linked over in my favorite things over in the guide section. That my stand, this thing right here, this thing right here. I have this listed. I just listed this, and again, not an affiliate. I don't get anything for it. But I love it. I love it way better than the Archon. And I need to link my iPad. And I need to link my iPad case because those are pretty solid things that there's no other option for me. And then, yes, my 3, I really have 3 different types of favorite brushes. So I'll show you them real quick, okay? And then I have, if you can't find these, I do have an option for you that I know every craft store has. They're just not my absolute favorite. They are Royal and Langnickel, and they will get the job done. You just have to do a lot more care for them to keep their shape, because I'm not a big fan of Taklon. I think that's how you pronounce it, Taklon. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, so my favorite is Synthetic Sable. So I have two different lines in the Royal and Langnickel family. These are not the same size angle brushes, but they're similar. Hold on. These are the same size. Okay, so these are, I think, 1/2 inches. Yeah. So this and this, they're the exact same brush, just different handles practically. These are Synthetic Sable. See how firm they are? Like they bounce right back. I don't know which one has the they bounce right back. They keep their shape. There's not a whole lot of fraying going on. And even if they do start fraying out, you know, when your brushes get really dry or really gunked up with paint, all of a sudden your bristles start separating. They don't do that. And even when they start to do that, that's when you really need to deep clean. That's a sign of needing to deep clean. I'm going to go ahead and take a peppermint because I'm about to start coughing. So when they start to separate, it's a good sign that it's time for a deep clean. It's time to do this. Okay, so we've been about 10 minutes in the water, maybe a little longer. We're going to give one more good swish, and it is okay to put this alcohol down the sink, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay, that water was kind of grayish, murky black. Okay, so we're back at the sink, and I just poured water. You can put as much water in here as you want. We're just going to do the same thing. We're going to bounce them around. I'm just bouncing them around. I'm just agitating them. I'm not scrubbing them on the bottom of my cup. I'm just kind of agitating, trying to get, kind of rinsing that alcohol out of the bristles. Okay, I'm going to do that a couple times. Now that, I wish I would have shown you. Okay, do y'all remember this brush? It had blue paint all over it. It still has the blue paint kind of all over it. That blue paint is starting to peel off. Now, that blue paint was really solid layers of paint sitting on the edge. See how it's already starting to disappear? Now, I'm going to go ahead and let this soak. This one needs to soak a little longer. I'm going to just put it in my brush cup, and I'll tend to this later. I'm not putting it, this is a sponge, so I'm not putting enough to submerge the entire bristle. I'm just putting enough for the entire thing to soak up with alcohol. And I'm going to agitate it just a little bit, kind of loosen up. I'm just going to let it simmer. Just let it sit and simmer. Now the next step, say we have some brushes that are needing to, let's take a look at Ray's. Let's see if she has any good examples that need to be reshaped. Okay. Let's take a look at our 2-inch brush first. Our 2-inch brush doesn't necessarily need to be reshaped, but I reshape it every time. Just because, do you see the separation? See the bristles right there? See how they're separated right there in the center? That needs some reshaping. And because this is just a base coat brush, that's all I use it for. I only use it for base coating. Now look at that. Look at that. It can now bend. There's still some paint in there. I can still tell right here, super solid, thick, and it's got sealer. So this is going to take a lot longer than just 10 minutes in a soak. So I'm going to set it. I'm going to show you how I shape it, but I'm probably going to clean this a couple more times. But it is now revived enough to be able to base coat. Before we could, that wouldn't have even soaked up any paint because it was so stiff with sealer. Hey, Tamara Gregory, how are you doing? Hey, Teresa. Is she putting them in alcohol or water? Okay, so Camera, I put them in 91% alcohol and let them soak for 10 minutes. Okay, you don't want to let them soak. This is not one of those let them soak overnight. No, ma'am. Not if you tell anybody Erica told you to do that, I will say she is lying through her teeth. No, you want to do 10 minutes at a time. Okay. Would you want your hair soaking in straight alcohol for 10 minutes? No. Would you want it soaking in alcohol all night long? Treat your brushes like you would treat your own hair. Okay. We don't want this soaking in alcohol all night long. No, ma'am. Okay. But then, yes, we pour it out, and then we are soaking them in water now just to kind of get all that alcohol out. So we are going to now take, remember I told you were going to need a dish towel. You were going to need some jacked up brushes. You were going to need a basin, a cup of some sort that can keep your brushes kind of as straight as possible. You were also going to need a microwavable small bowl, just a small one, okay? So we're going to put some water, not that much, and we're going to microwave this for about a minute. It's going to get really hot, so you're going to want to not use your hands to grab it out of the microwave. So I'm going to put it on for a minute. And don't judge my mountain of laundry that just came out of the dryer. I'm going to fold that after I talk to you good people. Thank you for answering. I came in late. She's rinsing in water and deep cleaning and alcohol. Yes, I'm rinsing in water, deep cleaning and alcohol. Where do you buy? I get mine at Walmart in the pharmacy section. It's the 91%. Actually, I just picked some up. We live near a neighborhood Walmart, like the little grocery section only version of Walmart, and I found that bottle right there. That I found it there. Hey Pam. Hey Miss Carlene. All right, let's check this out. Oh yes, it's boiling. So at about 45 seconds, my microwave already had it boiling. So I'm gonna see if I can grab it. Ooh, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna actually. So hot. I'm gonna put that in the sink. I normally do it over my dish towel, but so you can see it, I'm gonna put it in the sink. I really don't have any brushes that need to be really super bad reshaped. All these are good to go. I'm gonna move them out of the way. So I need this dish towel. Okay. That came out of Raylan's bag. So we're going to take a dish towel. I usually lay it flat out. Actually, right here is where I normally clean my brushes. We're going to lay it out right here. We're going to inspect each brush. This one is actually really good. It's got a really good, it's kind of leaning. It's kind of leaning. This is Raylan's. So I'm gonna squeegee it out just a little bit, and I'm gonna take this cup. I'm gonna dip my brush in. Sometimes on a flat brush, I will bend the bristles back and forth on each side, and the really hot water. Some people will say boil water. I don't have time to boil water. You put it in the microwave for about a small bowl like that for about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. It's going to come out. It was boiling over. And, you know, I had boiling water. And there we go. Perfectly. Now look how thin that is. Look how the chisel. Okay. So what I do is I put it in the water. I bring it out and I wring it out. So I have my fingers on each side of making a little alligator claw, okay? Making a little alligator claw. We'll talk an alligator, and I just pull the bristles so that they come out to a nice, sharp, chiseled point, okay? I normally have another dish towel. Let me put this one down. And I lay them flat. All right, let's pick a different shape brush. Okay, so this is a pretty gnarly. Okay, look at this one. This is a pretty, it's really frayed out. You see, this is supposed to be a round brush. It's having identity issues. Okay, so I'm just gonna dip it in the hot water. Okay. Look, just dipping it in the hot water already helped it a little bit. Okay. And then my talking alligator, and I'm going to reshape that brush. Okay. And now it's a round brush again with no frayed bristles. We're going to lay it flat. Okay. Okay, this one's not too far gone, but it is bent. It's kind of leaning. This is what happens to your round brushes when you leave them in water for too long. They start to kind of lean. So we're going to put it in our hot water, our Talking Alligator, and we're going to pull it. And with the round brushes, I tend to like, where's my camera? Where is it? Right there. I tend to like twist as I pull, and it brings it to a really sharp point. Lay them flat to dry. They take about an hour to dry completely. Usually I'll do this before bed, or I'll do it when I first wake up, when I know I can just walk away and leave them alone for like the rest of the day or overnight. And I just let them air dry. See? I hope this is helping. I did forget to send her the video. I have it saved on my phone. I'll send it to her. Okay. Let me dry this one off. So this one's got some issues. It's not like to the naked eye. It looks like it's fine, right? Let's look. Let's see if I can find a good spot to show you. Do you see how they're like the bristles aren't talking to each other? They're going through a really bad breakup, and they just don't want to sit next to the couch, each other on the couch at couples counseling. Like that's what's happening right here. Okay, so let's put them through some therapy. It's also leaning in. So I didn't show you that part. It was also kind of lean because it was sitting in water for too long. It was leaning in. Let me see how hot this water is. Yeah, it's still hot enough. Okay. Talking Alligator. Pinch it as I pull it through. And look. Sharp chisel. All those bristles are talking to each other again. I have one stray. Hold on. We've got one stray bristle there. It's going to bug me. Every once in a while, one of those bristles on the very outer edge will get bent and won't want to be reshaped. You can snip that off with a pair of really, are they called pinking shears? Like the really teeny tiny little sewing scissors, or a pair of nail clippers. Perfect chisel. Look, we just saved a brush mirror. Look at this. Hey, Grace. All right, so we're just going one brush. I end up, honestly, I'll inspect each one, and they get reshaped whether they need it or not. All right, so this is one of our angles. Okay, so there's not much issue going on here. Other than, can you see where the bristles are kind of separated right there? That's not too bad of an issue, but if we don't take care of it now, that's where paint can end up just living and causing a buildup. So let's go ahead and reshape that. Okay. Talking Alligator and pinch it. And now look, it's gone. Okay. It's gone. Lay it flat. The key to, after you shape them, lay them flat. Every so often, we'll have to rewarm our water. I don't like doing it in actual boiling water because of the steam. I don't like sitting over a boiling pot of water and like the steam constantly. Because let's be real, we've got paint still in these brushes. We'll never, if they've touched acrylic paint, they'll never be 100% clean. They're contaminated. And I have used one particular pan that I used to use boiling water with, and I noticed that a ring would form because it was white. It was white ceramic on the inside, or white enamel. A ring would form after I had cleaned brushes just to shape them. There was enough paint still in the brush after deep cleaning them multiple times that it would cause like this, the hairline of a ring. And I'm like, no, not in what I prepare my food in. So I've started using, I used to do nail art in this bowl. That's not acrylic paint around the edge. That's actual nail polish. I used to do water marbling in that bowl. It was the perfect size. Okay. So I'm just reshaping each brush. Now this is one of her shading brushes. It doesn't need reshaping, but I will dry it off. Okay, I'm gonna lay it flat. Oh yeah, oh, this is a good one. So do you see, oh man, this one's had a rough day, okay? Let's give it a little therapy. Okay. There we go. It's still leaning. Let's see if I can fix the lean. The way I fix a leaning brush is I will push the bristles against the bottom of my bowl. I can't fix all the leans. It's still leaning a little bit, but it's not as bad. Teeny tiny little angle brush. Teeny tiny. Now this one never needs shaping. For some reason, she loves this brush and she uses it a lot, but it has never needed. I always do shape it, but it never needs it. Okay. It's okay to layer your brushes on top of them when you're laying them flat. Just lay them flat. So I'm going to start inspecting. Okay, so that one right there. Which one's okay? So that one just needs to be dried. This one doesn't need to be shaped. So we're just going to start getting really persnickety about them because we don't need to reshape every single one. You got the point, right? That one's good. This one needs to be reshaped. We can attempt that one. I don't think it will. Hers are not synthetic sable. So that's why I'm not really trying to revive hers. I'm just trying to keep them in good enough shape for her to use them until she's old enough to really take care of a nice set of brushes. So I'm just trying not to have to rebuy her cheap brushes every time. My water is officially needing to be rewarmed. If I can touch the bowl, it needs to be rewarmed. I'll put it in there for about 15, 20 seconds. You're welcome, Becca. She has worn that dress a million times, by the way, Becca. Are you dipping in warm or it's hot? It's hot water. In fact, it's boiling. I wish I could bring you into this microwave to show you how boiling. That was 15 seconds. Let's go 15 more. Hot enough that I'm going to need something to protect my fingers getting it out of the microwave. It's sizzling. Sizzling water. I just don't like boiling a whole pot of water. Okay, so that one is like, this is a liner brush, and so every single bristle is going not in the correct direction. They're all like trying to break out of the gel there. Okay, so we're gonna just soak it in that sizzling hot water. Get our talking alligator. Oh, I think this one's too far gone. No. You just stop that right there, Erica Ray. Don't be talking that negativity. Hold on. Look at that. Nice sharp point. Took a couple dips, but we got it done. Okay, this one's just got a little separation. It's not actually going in different directions. It's an angle brush, and it's kind of doing the Spock. Kind of got like the little Spock hand going where there's just a gap in between the bristles. So we'll take care of that. This has got the same situation as that last liner brush. I think this is another liner brush. Okay, so I'm just twisting it in that hot water. I'm going to twist it as I pull it through my talking alligator. And The faster you work when they're that bad, the better. It may take a couple of dips. This one may have one bristle that just needs to be snipped because I think it's actually bent. I don't think it needs to be reshaped. I think it's actually bent. Let's try it one more time. See if we can bend it back. Liner brushes, I will say, in my opinion, probably get they're more likely to have that one bristle that just doesn't want to be reshaped. See if I can do this barehanded. This is going to be hot. I don't recommend this at home. Yeah, it's got that one bristle that doesn't want to be reshaped. So I'm going to have to take some nail clippers. I don't know what she did to this one. Yeah. It's better than it was. So far, that was the only brush that we've had actual issues out of. It's a cheapy little wooden brush from probably an art kit. One of those little $10 Michael art kits that they sell at Christmas time. We don't spend a lot of time trying to revive those. All right, we're done with that. Now, I would just walk away from these and let them dry on the dish towel. I use a dish towel because the dish towel helps pull the water from the bristles. Let's go back to this sponge. Let's see if we can work on the sponge a little bit more. Okay. It is soaking. You see all that's rubbing alcohol coming out. Okay. So I'm going to take my finger. I'm going to start just kind of working at it, but I don't want to like start scraping it. Okay. And I'm going to get some warm water. Okay. Let's see if I can use this. Oh, nope. That's still super hot. Now, you can only do this with sponge brushes for so many times before, because they're so porous. Aunt Martha sponges hold up a lot better. Okay, so you just want to like lightly break that paint up, because all that is just layered on paint. You just want to break it up without breaking the sponge. So I'm barely just grazing it with my nail. And even though there's still color, it will work. Okay, even though there's still color from paint, we have taken the actual hardness of the paint away to where this will soak up paint again and base coat again. So there's that. Okay, and that's how you properly clean your brushes. Does anybody have any questions or want me to go over another process? Anything, go into depth a little bit more where I got certain things. I will be getting alcohol. This hand sanitizer, had to get out. Are you dipping in warm water or hot? It's very hot water. So what I did, actually, I'm going to pour this out. I took a small bowl. This is a microwavable safe bowl. Actually, like I'm sure back when I was a teenager, I probably snagged it from a restaurant that had a sauce in it, and I was a bad patron. I don't do that anymore, but I do have a couple of these, and I'm pretty sure that's their origin story. I'm sure they came from Chili's or somewhere, and my favorite ranch was in there. But it's a condiment bowl, okay? It's a microwavable safe because I put it in the microwave. So I just put about half of it with water. I put it in the microwave for no more than a minute because it don't take but a minute to get boiling water. There's no sense in boiling a whole pot of water on the stove when all you need is that much. And then after I've done the alcohol rinse, and then I've rinsed them out with water a couple of times, I'll then reshape them in the boiling hot water. Oh, you're welcome, Rita. I hope it helps. I'm thinking about putting together like a little printable, like just kind of a step-by-step on how to clean your brushes. That way you kind of have a checklist and a supply list. And until you do it a few times, so if you need one of those, let me know. I can whip one of those up. I came in a little late. What cleaner do you use? Okay, so Pam, To deep clean my brushes, the process that we just used, the only thing that we used to clean them with was water and 91% rubbing alcohol. Okay, so let's just right there. Now, whenever I'm cleaning, actually this has rubbing alcohol in it, so let me rinse it out. When I'm cleaning my brushes, while I'm actually painting, I have a little bit of this in my brush water, just a little bit. Okay, so I use that or something called pink soap that you can get they can get both of those at the Hobby Lobby, as Raylan used to say. Let's see what else. So those are the two actual products I use to clean my brushes. The rest of it's just hot water. I rinse in cold water, but I reshape in hot water. Hey, Kim. Hey, Terry. This is great information. I'm so glad I came in late, so I'd love the step-by-step. Okay, Sue, I can definitely get you a step-by-step. You're welcome, Pam. All right, if there's no more questions on how to properly clean your brushes. Oh, one more thing. Y'all don't judge my container. Don't judge it because it does have a tiara in it for my birthday. I wear a tiara on my birthday, just FYI, because I'm a 5-year-old. And I put all my receipts in, like, whenever I come home with like a business receipt, I just stick it in my brushes because I know I'm going to see it. So now I know to go put these away. So I've got those. But how I store my brushes is I store them straight up. Now, I will never take them straight from cleaning to storing. After these are dry, that's when they go in here. So all this is I think I got this at Hobby Lobby or Dollar Tree. It's just a small, it's actually a planter. And inside here, the bottom, there's some rice just to weigh it down. And to keep my brushes from hitting metal, they hit the rice first. Okay. And it keeps them from shifting all the time. And inside there, have you ever seen the little, I don't know if you can see that. Do you see the little grate? See the little grate? So at the Dollar Tree, in the craft section, and they do have them at Hobby Lobby, they're just like more expensive. At Dollar Tree, they have these brush caddies that have like little pillars, 4 little pillars, and there's 2 cylinders, and you construct it, and it makes a brush stand. All I did was I just took the top section, threw the rest of it away, and put it inside of my thingy. And that's what keeps my brushes standing straight up. You made it look a lot easier. It is easy. It's not hard to clean your brushes. And it's really not as time consuming as we've been here today. We've been here for an hour, but we've also been chit-chatting, and I went through every single brush to show you all the different things that can be saved. But honestly, it takes me about 15 minutes. I mean, that's including soaking time. It takes me about 15 minutes to clean my brushes, and half of the time I'm off doing something else because they're soaking, right? It takes me 5 minutes to reshape something, reshape a whole set of brushes. If I'm doing every single brush, it doesn't take long at all. So I hope it helps. I'll get together a little brush care printable and put it somewhere on my page. We'll also put it over in the paint studio as well. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. I don't mind answering any questions. If I don't know the answer, I'll go find it for you, or I'll find someone who does. Y'all, let me think of anything else I need to tell you before I leave. I've got medicine brain going on, so I'm all over the place. If you need me when it comes to brushes, just send me a quick message. It'll take me a little while to get back to you, but I will get back to you. If you have, like I said, if you have any questions, you can put them down here in the comments here in the video. And make sure you check out Monday morning. We are going to be back painting live. I've been sick this week, so I haven't been painting live this week, but we'll be back on regular schedule Monday morning, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time with a new project that you're not going to want to miss. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.